Hi, wellness friends. Your neighborhood wellness guru here, Danny Quinto. And for this episode, let me talk to you about one of the most pervasive things that is in our environment and which can affect our brain and mind health either positively or negatively. And I'm sure you've guessed it already. I'll be talking about sound and definitely music. Did you know that sound has a very large effect on our brain and our mind health? And if talking about sound, what is the most pervasive sound that you hear in your environment, in your own home, in your neighborhood? Do you constantly hear the sound of dripping of the faucet? Or do you hear the sound of birds, the chirping of birds as you wake up, especially in the morning? If you live near the beach, you always hear the sound of waves. Or if you live near a main highway, you hear the sound of cars and of trucks and all honking going on around. In your own home, do all the people always shout? You hear shouting all of the time, and how does it make you feel? What do these sounds make you feel? Do they make you agitated or do they make you calm? When you wake up in the morning, do you hear the environment of silence? There's nothing that you can hear. Now, why does sound have such a definite impact on our brain and in our mind? Well, basically, sound is a physical force, meaning it has pitch, it has rhythm, but it also has vibration. And therefore, it has a definite impact on our physical self, especially on our brain, and definitely on our mind, on our mental, and on our emotional self. And you would agree with me, it also has a definite impact on our spiritual health. When we listen to music from the churches that we attend to, does it lift you? I'm sure definitely. Now, what are some of the real effects of sound? That includes music. Now, one is it gets your attention right away, except when you've already gotten used to it, with the sound of the dripping on your faucet, that you rarely hear it already. But for many, it can catch your attention. Do you hear the sound of an ambulance? Definitely will get your attention right away. And what do you perceive when you hear different kinds of sounds? When you hear a dog barking, your perception might be, this is an unfriendly environment. If you hear an ambulance, you'd feel agitated because of the sound of the ambulance. So perceptions can differ because of the sounds that we hear. If you hear a soothing voice, then definitely you'll feel you're in a very friendly territory. And so it also affects our concentration, and that's very important, especially when you're trying to do something that demands your concentration. And irritating sounds definitely will take you away from it. Now, stress levels. And here we come into an area that has a definite impact not only on brain and mind health, but on our entire body as well. Those sounds, does it elevate your stress levels or does it lower them? Are you most of the time on the parasympathetic nervous system, meaning you're calm and you're happy most of the time? But are you always on the edge, on the sympathetic nervous system? You're ready for a fight or to run away, and you wouldn't want to be there, because if that becomes regular, it becomes chronic and negatively impacts your body and your brain and your mind health. Now, here are some important facts I'm going to share with you regarding sound and music. Did you know that for a child, especially if they've been exposed to it even on the third trimester of your mom, all right, you haven't been born yet into this world, you've been exposed already to sound. By studies, they have found out that children who have been exposed to music very early on, and when they grow up, they have very good academics. They're very good in their emotional contents. They're very good physically and definitely socially as well. And emotionally, they're calmer. So for expectant mothers, please tune into sounds that can definitely impact your baby. Now, doctors, especially the surgeons, they have found out also by study that if the patient has been exposed to sound, especially during the operation and after the operation, calming sounds, healing sounds, then they can heal faster. The recuperative period is a lot shortened. Wow. Okay, that's a good tip for our surgeons. That I'm sure that they know it. Now, if you have Alzheimer's or dementia, definitely you wouldn't want to go into sounds that negatively impact you. You'd want to have calmer sounds so that it can lower your Alzheimer's or your dementia. It can lift your mood, definitely. You wouldn't want to get depressed all of the time. So sounds. Now, by way of self-assignment, you might say, can I ask you then to do a sound check, especially in your own home, in your own bedroom, in your own neighborhood? Do a sound check. Now, write them down or memorize them or try to be aware of them. What are the sounds that affect you? What are the sounds that you constantly hear? And do you feel happy, depressed, or calm when you hear those sounds regularly? So please do a sound check. All right? For our next episode, we'll be going more directly into music and how we are going to create a sound menu, especially for breakfast, a breakfast sound menu. And as you go on through the day and as you prepare to go to bed and rest for the night. Okay, always, before I end, let me share with you a quotation from one of my favorite singers, a duo called Simon and Garfunkel. And in one of the songs, it says, "And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence." And so with that, this is your neighborhood wellness guru, Danny Quinto. If you like this episode and the others before and after this, please subscribe to it. Share it with your friends. Stay safe, stay brain and mind resilient and happy. See you next episode.